land of ours and fill a sportsman's dreams. Enjoy what nature holds for us, her bounty never ends. Getting back to basics with the practical sportsman. It's always an adventure, no matter where we go. From a favorite hunting spot to the hottest fishing hole. Outdoor life we all can share with family and friends. We'll do it all together with a practical sportsman. We'll do it all together with a practical sportsman.
Hi there, come on in. It is Thursday night, March 15th, the year 2001. You know, I had a birthday about a week and a half ago. Whoopee, I was 55 years old. I wished I would have known I was going to live this long. But in my years, I have known some living legends. Probably one of the most famous is Fred Bear, that bow hunting pioneer. I have some vintage footage with Fred Bear that I think is appropriate to watch as a memoriam to him. We're going to get started on that in just a moment. Stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. You're watching The Practical Sportsman.
When I was a kid, growing up on a farm, we were tickled to death to have a cottontail rabbit to chew on. You bet.
We have this huge video library here at The Practical Sportsman we've collected over the past 20 years, and there's many things in there that I've taped and actually totally forgotten about, but great stuff. And what brings this to mind is an article I saw in the Detroit News that Dave Ritchie wrote about the legendary Fred Bear. Just so happens that the same week that I had my 55th birthday, Fred Bear would have been 99 years old. So I looked up in our database to see what I had on Fred Bear. I have about 45 minutes of interviews with him. Let's take a look at some uncut footage that was taken at the Anderson Archery Clinic, 1983, when Fred Bear came through, and we had a fun little chat. You might as well just roll it, and I'm just going to chat with Fred Bear.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Okay, well, we'll just chat for a second and get into it. Fred Bear, how does it feel to be back home?
Feels good. Feels good. I get cooled off.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's warm down in Florida.
I bet it's warm down there. Have you been fishing up on the Au Sable?
Yeah, I was up there. I got up there Friday night and I had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
What's that, 5 limits then you got? No?
I got one small fish. It was raining and somebody, I guess the Indians put on a rain dance or something. It was raining and miserable and cold and there were no hatches. So.
Well, those trout are really hard to hit with an arrow anyway.
Well, yeah, hard to hit with an arrow. You can get pretty hungry doing that, I would guess.
Yeah, well, you're quite a fly fisherman, though. I'm just kidding about that.
Yeah, I'm a fly fisherman, yeah. We don't shoot game fish, just rough fish, carp, suckers, you know, with a bow.
Archery's changed a lot since you started in the business. When did you start?
1933. You weren't born yet.
No, I know it. Thanks. You weren't making longbows. You're making recurves?
Oh, sure, yes. And we made recurves at that time, yeah. Yeah, that was about the beginning of the recurve bow in this country. Recurve bow is not new. The Turks made them thousands of years ago. Yeah. But, no, we made them in that time. Yeah.
What about compound bows when they came in? Caused quite a furor and a lot of popularity. What do you think about it, really?
The first compound bows that we saw were samples that were sent up here by the guy that invented them from Harless Allen from Billings, Missouri. And I thought they were terrible. Of course, his first bows were not good looking. One of them was made out of a piece of water pipe with wheels on it. And it's pretty discouraging. And then later, he made some better looking samples. And they were all right, but I still couldn't. I always have had in mind the bent, beautiful bow. And a compound bow is anything but beautiful, in my opinion. This is the conventional type bow that I have here.
This is your modern recurve, the Bear recurve.
It has nice lines, yeah, and it's a takedown bow. But the compound bow is taken over, and it's an easier bow to shoot. The weight drops off as you draw it back. This bow gets tighter as you draw it back. The compound, the cams come into action, and it pulls about half of the weight when you get back full draw as it does at the beginning. So that's quite an advantage, yeah.
Is that archery to you?
Well, it's archery. Yeah, sure. You're shooting. You still have to do the same job. You have to draw all that weight, and it gets easier to hold.
But it doesn't have the romance?
No, it doesn't have the romance, no. It has wheels and cables on it.
How about stringing up this bow? Show us the proper way to string.
Well, the proper way to string is to step through it and bend it over your thigh and slip the string on.
Okay.
You got it like that.
There it is, the classic recurve.
That's a takedown recurve is what it is, yeah.
The arrow nock is on the wrong side, though.
Well, I'm left-handed. Yeah.
I know that. I'm just pulling your leg.
Okay.
Left-handed. You shot all of these animals over the years. You've shot more big game animals with a bow than anybody. More records.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. I've had a lot of fun doing it. Well, Fred, when I got in the archery business, was in Detroit in 1933. Those were bad years. That was the beginning of the end of the worst depression ever. There were no jobs. And I got in the archery business.
That was Fred Bear, a revered man back in 1983. An unconventional way of shooting, sort of an unconventional attitude towards bow hunting. But he kept all of us in awe. Now, Fred had a great sense of humor. And a lot of people didn't know that. He exhibited that sense of humor at a banquet that we held in the fall of 1983 up at Houghton Lake in conjunction with a bow hunt. Fred was there. I was the MC of the banquet in the old Houghton Lake Playhouse, and we got a chance to see Fred Bear's sense of humor. Due to this one man, and we owe him an awful lot. We should pay him the highest tributes for coming up here. It's a grand honor to welcome Fred Bear.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks very much. Fred, I appreciate the fine introduction. There are a lot of real nice fellows named Fred, in spite of the fact that it's a four-letter word, which Bear is also, and it's quite a weight that I carry around on my shoulders. We're going to have a little fun tonight. I'll be finished. It'll take about 2 or 3 hours. So settle back, unbuckle your belts and open your ties, and we'll get to it. But before we get into the fun thing, I want to get a little serious for a few minutes. I want to talk about the decline in the quality of the ability of sportsmen to lie. I'm real serious about this. When I was a kid, if a fella said he caught a fish 3 feet long, you could bet your last dollar that it wasn't a bit over 12 inches. If you shot a deer that weighed 300 pounds, you could bet your life also that it probably was a spotted fawn. And sportsmen or outdoorsmen have been traditionally known to be good liars. And I think we've fallen far short, and I'm on a campaign to improve the quality of these things that I talk about. I am suggesting that nobody ever set foot in the woods without an alibi already prepared. You can get you can get caught short now. And I take it back to George Washington. You know, he cut down the cherry tree. And his father, you know, caught him, and he said, "George, did you cut down the tree?" He was absolutely without alibi. And he said, "Yes, Father, I can't tell a lie. I did cut down the cherry tree." Well, he was later to become president, you know, and imagine the guy, president, who can't tell a lie. He could have said, you know, if he'd have been prepared, "Yeah, I just came around the corner of the house and I saw a beaver run off in the woods there, and here's all the chips." But he was caught flat-footed. And during my early boyhood, and George Gardner's also, one of the pranks the kids did at Halloween was to push over an outhouse. Now, I realize that it's hard to find an outhouse nowadays, but in those days you always could find some kind of a facility in the back of the house. And this young lad pushed over the outhouse, and his dad happened to come around the corner, and he saw him kind of running off, and he later apprehended him, and he said, "Did you push the outhouse over?" And the kid said, "Yes, Father, I cannot tell a lie. I pushed the outhouse over, relying on this George Washington business, you know." And his father beat the hell out of him. And after he could get his breath back, he said, "Well, Dad, you know, George Washington cut down the tree." And he said, "Father, I can't tell a lie. I cut down the tree, and I pushed over the outhouse and say the same thing, and you give me a beating." And the father said, "Well, George Washington probably wasn't in the tree when his father when he cut it down." So, all right. So much for that. I hope you'll bear with me on there and see if we can improve our ability to lie better. We owe that. Okay.
Fred Bear, a tall man, a great man, a pioneer among hunters, the original ambassador for bow hunting. He lived in a good era before hunting became such a controversy and before our DNR became such a political institution. Fred Bear embodies what hunting was and what hunting should be. A food-gathering activity, honest recreation focusing on camaraderie and fun. And that's no lie.
4 times before on a grizzly hunt that fall.
So what kind of trophy fish are anglers catching the third week in March? Well, let's go to our 1999 Marbles Fishing Awards data, see who sent us photos. Starting on March 15th, Saginaw River, open water in a boat. Don Long from Otisville got this 11-pound, 32-inch walleye on a jig and minnow. Mullet Lake, Sheboygan County, still frozen in March, an unusual catch for that neck of the woods. A white bass, 16 inches, over 2 pounds for Eric Buer from Poamo. Antrim County, Clam Lake, also frozen in March, but Theron Luft from Bel Air got a 14-inch perch on a wiggler through the ice. But Clark Lake in Jackson County had no ice the third week in March. Don Collins from Jackson was bobber fishing from a boat, got this female yellow perch with a belly bulging with eggs, 15 inches, 2.5 pounds. Mid-March is the beginning of the sucker runs. Dave Tarago from Grand Haven got one of the first trophy white suckers of 1999. They have to be over 20 inches or over 3 pounds. This one came from the Grand River in Ottawa County, and that's exactly where Bill Wynn takes his son Ryan and Ryan's cousin Adam starting the middle of March. They all catch master angler suckers and release them just for fun, to practice for bass and walleye and pike season. Speaking of walleye, Jeff Smith caught one on April 1st from those year-round waters that are open in Saginaw Bay off Aranac County. Now, looking at one of the pictures he sent in, I could see he was decked out. Brand new deluxe lantern on a headband. In the front pouch of his new waders, you can see a brand new fish stringer in the plastic package. Quite the dude, and his top-of-the-line outfit was just one part of his trophy tail. Well, I tell you what.
Fred,
No. Jeff Smith from Freeland was concerned that TV puts on 10 pounds. So here, let you can check it out at home, okay? Hold the fish out, okay? So here you go. Turn around this way. Hold the fish up. Okay. There we go. Now. Okay. Now you can play the game at home. Guess how much I weigh.
I'd be a record.
Huh?
I'd be a record.
Well, I don't know. We'll find out. Well, that's interesting to find out.
Fred, this is the first walleye I ever caught in my life.
Really?
Very first one. My buddies taught me, and I got a new job. I moved to Saginaw. And by the way, that gentleman with the 4.4 and the other guy here that wanted to fish got the 4.8. I was on the Shiver on the River contest. They had like 6 over 13.5. If you want to catch big walleye, you come to Saginaw, Michigan. That's where they're at. That is where they're at. I'm bar none, the best walleye fish you'll ever find. You forget Canada, you forget anywhere. Best one.
And you don't have to be a heavyweight either.
Well,
to catch
it's good to, when you bring the big monsters in, but my problem is I got the 12-ounce lift. I tell you what, I almost didn't catch. I know. Yeah, I'll tell you, how
I mean, Diet Pepsi comes in 12-ounce
well,
cans.
you know
is
how
what you're
easy,
saying.
this is the first walleye I ever caught in my life. He's almost didn't catch it. I was up there fishing. My guy says, okay, you're going to go up there fishing now. We don't fish bass or pike. We fish walleye, we fish salmon. I goes, okay, what I need? We'll go to Frank's. $1,500 later, I got a Loomis rod, I got waders, I got this, I got everything in the goddamn thing. I goes, I better catch a lot of walleye. So I go up there, and my buddies out there, we're catching like 12. If we're catching like 10 feet away, he's catching fish, and I never caught a walleye. So he comes and goes, try this. So I goes, well, this is like a little stick, like nothing, So anyways, they're up there, he's looking at it, and I got to go drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, go pee. And my buddy says, don't go. They're coming like schools. I go, schools? Okay, I'll sit there. And I said, just to humor him. So I threw one time, nothing else, and then I caught this sucker here.
Wow.
Yeah. First one ever I caught. Yeah.
That's an outstanding story. I have to ask you one thing. It's kind of spooky there, this hat. Get a load of that. Are you in some satanic cult or something?
No.
Some fishing?
G. Loomis.
G. Loomis. Huh.
By 200 rod. I goes, do I really need a 200 rod? There's a $49 rod that probably works just as good. He goes, no, you need a $200 rod. I go, really? I better catch a lot of fish. You see this? Now that I caught this.
Oh, okay. Talk to the camera. Fear no fish.
Fish fear me, Fred. Fish fear me now. I'm deadly.
Absolutely. Well, this is outstanding. This is Jeff Smith from Freeland. I have some bad news and some good news. The bad news, I think, when you get home and look at this on TV, you're going to think you maybe gained 20 or 30 pounds. 45 pounds. TV puts a lot of weight on. The good news is now that you're done, you can go have a beer, smoke a cigarette, and pee. There you go. He may have spent $1,500 on highfalutin fishing gear, but he's still the kind of good old boy I like to fish with. Jeff Smith from Freeland, our Marbles Trophy Angler of the Week. That trophy tale, of course, was videotaped at our Marbles Fishing Awards bank. Also this weekend you can find Bill Yoder with Reese the Buck live and on the hoof. That's the buck that gored Bill. You'll see them at the Grand Rapids Sport and Travel Show at the Civic Center in downtown Grand Rapids.
Antlers that he had.
And here's a little preview on what's coming up next week on this show. Fishing season gets underway in March with the sucker runs. That's a good way to show a youngster some fishing success, and a white sucker over 20 inches is a Master Angler Trophy. Now this week on The Practical Sportsman, we will extol the virtues of sucker fishing, a good way to spend a few hours on a warm March day. I'll show you how if you'll join me this coming week, same time, same station, right here on Public TV. Well, I can't say the weather is getting any more inviting for outdoor activities, but I do know that spring fishing is right around the corner. I think we're all looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back here next week. A sunrise on a beach always looks warm, but on March 31st, when there's snow on the beach, the sunrise only looks warm. Matt Radzalowski spent 2 days with the camera on Lake Erie, Port Clinton, Ohio for that early season walleye frenzy. But like any fishing frenzy, the frenzy part doesn't happen 24 hours a day. Sometimes it doesn't even happen in a 24-hour day, especially with the weather changes that we have in the early spring. With the Bessie Davis nuclear power plant in the background, Larry Coyle explains how he finds the fishing spots.
Well, I'm using a map here that shows different reefs, and in, like you say, we're in wide open water out here. Nothing, you can't triangulate from shore, you're too far out. We're like 4.5, 5 miles out here. So what you have to do is you have to have a map that shows the structure you're looking for. In this time of year, we're looking for reefs, and that's where walleyes spawn. And they come up on these reefs to get ready to spawn, at least at this time. And I've got a map here that shows where these reefs are. And the reefs are shown on the map with coordinates at latitude and longitude. And from there, I can use my global positioning system, and this is a small handheld unit that shows, or that you can program into it where those reefs are by latitude and longitude. And then Once you've done that, then you can ask it to take you to one of them, whichever one you want to try, and punch it into it, and it'll show where that reef is, where you are, and it'll direct you to that with a straight line, and you stay along that line and you'll get there.
But getting there on an early April day can be a rough ride. Larry Coyle from Jackson and his brother-in-law Bill Smith from Lapeer have done well in the past, so they had high hopes for today. Their choice of jigs, it was a spin propeller like a Whistler jig. They tip it with a minnow and jig it just off the bottom. Now, Bill Smith assembles and sells lures. In the business, he's known as Walleye Willie. He's a frequent visitor at the Practical Sportsman Museum and at our outdoor fair in July. Fishing in April and July, though, are two totally different propositions. The rods and reels and tackle might be the same, but the clothing is far different. In April, wear gloves, a scarf, a knit cap, a hood, and a snowmobile suit. And don't be upset if the fishing's a little slow.
We're having a tough day out here. The water's really dirty. There's been a big blow prior to us getting here, and it's just a dirty, cloudy water, and I think that's the main problem when we're having a real hard time locating fish.
What's our next step? Where should we try next?
I don't know. I really don't know. If I knew, I think we'd have done it by now. But I think it's possible that they're still in really deep water out away from all this, and they're still staging out there, and they're just not here yet. I don't know that for a fact, but we're just not finding fish, and it's one of those things. We had that cold snap prior to this week. We had the big blow. We had snow. We had 0 wind chills and below. And I think I'm hoping that's all it is. I know the fishery here is outstanding, and that's the only thing I can think of right now is that it's just a little bit of a conditions matter. Keep the sun out, keep some warm rain is what we really need.
Well, if it wasn't for the sun, we'd be kind of chilly out here.
Oh, it's chilly enough as it is.
Well, the warm rays of the sun can help, but they don't melt away the cold wind off the lake or the cold spray from the bouncing boat. The sun does feel good, though, when you get back to the dock. These docks are at Turtle Beach, just south of the Michigan border. Now, some days in the spring, all the fishermen there have fish, might even have their limits, but Matt Radzalowski's camera only found one walleye on this day. It was caught the day before and kept in the live well. Lake Erie is loaded with walleye like this, honestly, and they do start hitting in early April, and the right hour on the right day can be a bonanza. But looking at the fish doesn't tell the whole story. Look at the water, the wind, the weather. The fish in early April, it helps to be a diehard.